Hello, my name is Matthew, and I read another one of those Spanish picaresque novels, and I read The Swindler by Francisco De Quevedo, and it's part of this wonderful little penguin classic, which has Lazarillo del Tormes and The Swindler, two Spanish picaresque novels, and they are very similar, having a young protagonist being off out in the world, having misadventures, and a succession of slightly comedic, episodic situations that are strung together into a little story. The Swindler, um, of these picaresque novels compared to Lazarillo del Tormes, is much darker, more tragic. It's funny, but there are funny moments in this story, but there is so much shame and anger on every page, and like the way that these picaresque novels are set up, we have a young boy who is going to be leaving his family and has to live by his wits and cunning. And at first, it does seem to have that levity and frothiness. There's that kind of biting, sardonic humor, but you're kind of laughing along. Things like he gets stuck up in this boarding house, and we're going to have a landlord or the headmaster who's essentially starving the children, all the children that are in this boarding house. And it's funny. So there's a big dinner table, and they bring out soup, and the soup is just clear. And our character, Pablos, is looking down at this clear bowl, and he sees a single chickpea at the bottom of the bowl, and it's just thinking like, I'm starving to death. And you kind of laugh along, and it nails you. The story, the details, the narrator's tone, and the protagonist's inappropriate laughter. It all sort of builds in a way that the fact that you're reading about child abuse and child torture in a funny way doesn't go unnoticed. The child in this book goes from place to place, has different boarding houses, and staying at friends' houses and things like that. And he's constantly being abused and victimized, and the characters laughing it off and acting, for the most part, as if it's all no big deal. But you can see it mounting. There's this pressure mounting, and it's scandalous how poorly treated this boy is. His parents, his father was a thief, and his mother was this kind of witch. They're trying to train their son at the very beginning. They're trying to train their son to be a thief and a con artist and a criminal. And the reason he leaves his childhood home is because he wants a better life for himself. He wants to go off to school. He wants to learn grammar and speak properly and think knowledgeably, and have an expectation of being productive and successful and good. And we just get a series of events from family members that don't have his best interests, people that are in a position of, of authority who should be taking care of him and mistreating him, friends that are stabbing him in the back, strangers that are lying to him. Every encounter, every interaction that our character, the young boy Pablos, comes into contact with is just another opportunity for deceit. And there's one of the boarding houses that he's in when he's young, and it's sort of a turning point in the book when he's just beaten mercilessly uh, by the other school children. It's the middle of the night while he's sleeping. They hold the bed sheets down so he's trapped and bound underneath the bed, and they just beat him relentlessly. One of the boys takes feces and throws it under the sheets, and so he gets covered in human feces, and he's just left there beaten and sore and humiliated. The boarding house master has to come down and finds him in this state, and Pablo's just makes this decision. Um, if this is how it's going to be, then I can be worse. If we are going to all be out for our own and not be helping each other, or not being empathetic and sympathizing and treating each other with kindness, then I will be cruel. I will be a criminal, and I will steal and be heartless and shameless. And it's just this downfall of a very young child who didn't have opportunities, and it really comes across as this indictment of some of the social structures around this time in Spain, but mostly like the people around him that he should have been able to trust and rely on, and failing him. He goes off on his own again. He gets a letter from his uncle, who's a hangman, and in the letter, it recounts that his father died through something shameful and criminal, and that the uncle was the executioner. It's calling the son to come back home in order to get a portion of his will, and he just ends up in this kind of rotting squalor of a home that this uncle lives in, and there's just drunkenness and debauchery and laziness, and it's all just pathetic and pitiful. He looks around and just thinks like, I can't deal with this either. And again, there was like a little opportunity where he has a chance to have money and be successful, but just looks around and thinks like, this is not what I want. And then he goes off again. And the great thing about this book is that it is a bit of a travel log. We go around to all these Spanish towns. At this point, he goes off to Madrid, and we get descriptions of all sorts of different areas of Spain, which I just love. And again, there's like these episodic situations that come up, different people that he meets, and it's not all just harsh and criminal. There really are some very funny parts throughout the whole of the book, especially because of the quality of the narrator describing his point of view of all of these terrible things. My main point is just how biting and sardonic that humor can be. And The novel ends with a promise of more to come, as if there's going to be another volume or another novel, and maybe there is. The author, Francisco De Quevedo, was a prolific writer of the time, and there could be other volumes, but it ends just as episodically as any other part of the book, as if it could just go on for another 100 pages. The book is only it's like a novella length, maybe 120 pages, something like that. But the ending of the book is just tragic. It's not a redemption story. It really is a picaresque tale. It's amoral. It's this character that had to learn how to survive, has to eat and live, and he's just a common criminal. He's met a band of criminals and spends time with these thieves and prostitutes. Funny little moments happen, but at the beginning of the book, when you know that this was a character that had eyes of promise, and just nothing went his way, everything failed him, and he turns out to be the man or young man that his parents expected of him, which was a criminal, a swindler. The Swindler by Francisco de Quevedo. The Spanish title is El Buscón. Fantastic start of the year. I started it last night, finished it today, and first book of Spanish literature for 2022. Let me know if you've read it. I thought it was fantastic, and please leave a comment if you would like. Thank you for watching, and take care.